Hello everyone. Today let's solve the problem number 27. Remove element. So what the question states here? We are given an integer array nums. You can clearly see here we have been given an array nums, integer array nums, and the integer value. Also we have been given integer value. So our task is to remove all the occurrences of the value in place. This one, right? So we have been given value 3. So we have to remove all the 3 in place, all the 3 that is present in the nums array in place, right? So without making use of the extra space, we need to remove the value in place. So just keep this in mind. The first k elements of the nums must hold values not equal to val. Just keep this in mind. The first k elements of the nums must hold values not equal to val. We need to return the k, the count of values that is not equal to val. And they have given one more thing: order doesn't matter beyond k, right? Beyond k, order doesn't matter at all, and we need to ignore the elements of the index k minus 1. So we have to just ignore elements after the index k minus 1. That's what they have given. So I hope the question is completely clear. Easy to understand, right? So let's come to the first example here. You can clearly see here we have been given input, this one input array nums. We have the elements 3, 2, 2, 3, and value is 3 here in this case, right? So we need to remove 3. So we have two threes here, 3 at the index 0 and at the index 3, right? So output is 2 because we have two threes here, and nums array that is left as 2 2, and other two are blank here. So that's what they have given in the explanation as well. Our function should return k equals 2 with the first two elements of nums being 2. It does not matter what you leave beyond the returned k, hence they are underscores here, this one. I hope this is clear, right? So let's come to the example 2 here. In this case we have 0 1 2 2 3 0 4 2. Value they have been given 2. They have given 2. Here we have 3 occurrences of 2 in the nums array. Just give me a second here. Where did this go? Yeah, 1 2 and this one 3, right? So k should be quite obviously 5. Why? Because when we remove 3 twos here from this array, so we are left with 0 1 3 0 4, right? So nothing but output 5. The length here is 0 1 1 2 3 4 5. So that one we need to return as output here 5, and the remaining 3 twos that we removed, that should be represented in the form of underscores here. You can clearly see here, right? So the same thing they have given in the explanation part as well. Our function should return k equals 5 with the first 5 elements of nums containing 0 0 1 3 and 4. Also note that 5 elements can be returned in any order. So it does not matter what you leave beyond the return k. Hence they are underscores. I hope this is clear. Easy to understand, right? I hope the question part is completely clear. Next, what shall we do? Let's discuss the approach along with the complexities and then write the code. First, let's discuss the approach. Here, I have considered the same first example that they have given in the question so that it will be easier to understand, right? So just give me a second here. Yeah, so nums 3 2 2 3. So when we remove, the value is 3, right? When we remove these, uh, this thing, these two threes from the nums array, then we are left with two twos. Nothing but the output we need to return here is 2, and the nums should be 2 2 and 2 underscores because we have removed two threes, right? So this is fine. I hope this is clear. So the approach that we will be going with is hash set. Just remember this one. The approach that we will be going with is hash set. So let's move on with a step by step explanation here. So here what we need to do, we want to remove all the occurrences of 3, right? So we need to remove all the occurrences of 3. We have considered the same example, the first example that they've given in the question. I have considered the same example here. So here we need to remove all the occurrences of the 3 and move the valid elements to the front. That's what we need to do. That's what we have been asked to do in the question, right? So initial step is here nums we have 3 2 2 3, value is 3, and we will initialize k equals 0, right? When I say we have initialized k equals 3, what we are doing here, this is nothing but the right pointer for the valid values. This is nothing but right pointer. For what? Right pointer for valid values, right? We are initializing k equals 0. This is nothing but right pointer for valid values, right? I hope the initialization part is completely clear. Let's move on with the next step, right? Here, the first step is when I equals 0. This is iteration part, right? So when I equals 0. So when I equals 0, nums of I is 3 here. So quite obviously we will skip because the value matches here, right? So this matches the value. So what we will do, we will skip here in this case, right? We will skip. So let's come to the next one here. When I equals 1, iteration part, nums of I equals 2 here. When I equals 1 means this is when I equals 0, 1, 2, 3. This is the iteration part, right? So when I equals 1, nums of I equals quite obviously 2 here. We will write to nums of k. Nums of k here, it is nothing but nums of 0. This will be 1, right? So this will be 1, right? So let's move on with the next step. When I equals 2, nums of I equals quite obviously 2 here because we have the element 2 here. This one we are considering, we have already considered 3 2 2. We are considering the third element nothing but 2. We will write to nums k, nums of 1 equals nothing but 2. In this case it will be 2. Let's come to the last part here. When I equals 3, the last one here, this one. So nums of I will be 3. We will skip because it matches the value here in this case. Value we have been given 3, right? So here this one I'm speaking of. Value we are considering 3 here, right? So we will skip this one as the value matches the as this one. The number matches value. So what we will do? We will skip in this case, right? So we have been left with two numbers actually, basically 1 and 2, this part. So final num says 2 2 underscore and underscore, and k equals quite obviously 2 here. K equals 2. So the output we need to return output first, k equals 2, nothing but 2 here. We will return 2 and only the first k elements. First k elements here are this one, this 2 and this 2, and other two will be left with this one underscores because we have removed 3 successfully here in this case, right? So the output will be k equals 2 and only first k elements matter, nothing but 2 2 here in this case. So the output that we got here is 2 and 2 2 underscore underscore, this one I'm speaking of final nums, which is equivalent to the output that they have given for the example 1 in the question. This one example output is 2 and nums 2 2 underscore underscore, right? I hope this part is completely clear, right? I hope this part is completely clear. Right now, we are completely familiar with the approach. Let's discuss the complexities very quickly. Just give me a second here. Yeah, here the time complexity will be big of n. Why the time complexity here is big of n? Because we will be traversing the entire array once. We will be traversing the entire array once. This one I'm speaking of in the approach while we took the first example. We have to traverse through the array, entire array exactly once, right? So obviously the time complexity would be big of n. And what will be the space complexity? The space complexity would be big of n as well. Why? Because we are storing all the valid elements in the hash set. I have said this one multiple times initially, that we will be making use of the hash set, and we are storing all the valid elements in the hash set. So the space complexity would be big of n as well. So the time complexity and the space complexity for the code that we will be writing will be big of n, right? So now we are completely familiar with the approach and as well as the complexities. Let's write the code. So what shall we do initially? So as I have said, we'll be making use of the hash set, right? So we will be making use of the hash set. Why? Because we have to store the valid values, right? Here in this case, let me create the hash set very quickly. This will be hash set in the angle bracket. I'll just give integer. This is fine. So let me make use of the variable name set. Let's create the hash set. I hope this is clear. So this has to be capital H. Just give me a second here. Yeah, this is fine now. right? So the next step here is we need to count this one, all the valid values. Initially, let's initialize k equals 0. We need counter, right? So this is fine. This is nothing but the count of valid values. Next step is nothing but we have to iterate over every element in the nums array, right? Let's make use of the simple for loop here. Int I equals 0, I this one less than, sorry, what is this L basically? This is fine. I less than length of the nums, and let's increment the I. So within the for loop, what we will be doing, if the current element is not equal to val, then it is said to be valid. Let's write the simple if condition here. If iterated value of the nums, if it is not equal to val, then what we will do within the if condition, we will be adding that one to the set for the hashing purpose, right? So we have to add that for the set for the hashing purpose, not necessary for the functionality, but it is necessary for the requirement, necessary per requirement, right? So let's add this one to the set for hashing. So I'll just make use of the add property here, set dot add of iterated value of the nums. So I hope that this part is completely clear. So the next what we need to do here, we need to overwrite the nums at the position k with the current value. So when I say we need to overwrite the nums, so this is nums of k equals nums of I. So we are just overwriting the nums at position k with the current value. After overwriting the nums at position k with the current value, we need to move to the next valid slot as well, right? So to move to the next valid slot, let's increment the k here. This is clear. So the next part here is let's return the count of valid elements. In this case, it will be return k, right? So this is it for the code. Simple to understand, right? So let me format the code once and let me hit the run button. I hope this works. Let's see. So yeah, you can clearly see here sample test cases are getting passed. So let me hit the submit button quickly. So you can clearly see here all the test cases are getting passed. Means the code, whatever the code that we have written, works completely correct. So first what we did, first we discussed the question, followed by the approach and complexities, then we wrote the code. That works absolutely correct in this case. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.